Yeah, man. Next up, brother. Obviously, your guy. I'll let you. I'll let you start this one off. If you follow my guy Pound for Pound Glory on anything, he's definitely a fan of Conor Benn, man. I'll let you take the floor on Conor Benn's performance versus Regis Prograis.
Yeah, yeah. Conor Benn got a unanimous decision victory. It's his first fight coming down in weight in what, like 3 years. But it wasn't at 147. It was at 150 pounds against a southpaw and the guy who's coming up in weight because he's originally at 140 pounds, I believe. So it's kind of a weird matchup that no one really thought would happen. But nevertheless, it did happen, and there's a lot of criticism on Conor Benn right now, given the fact that he left Matchroom for Zuffa Boxing, and the quote unquote rumor is for $15 million. So obviously, there's a lot of eyes on him and how he's going to perform. And what I think about his performance, I think his performance, he had a good performance. I'm not going to say it was great. I think that because of the pressure of delivering, he was like overly aggressive, looking for the stoppage early, like trying to outmuscle Regis Prograis, who's again a southpaw who's tricky for any fighter. Tricky as that southpaw stance could trick anybody. And if you look at Ben's record against southpaws, Van Herden, he stopped in 2 rounds, but he was like over the hill, and he hasn't fought since. And then he fought I can't really pronounce his name, but he fought him twice, Pineda, something like that. And he fought him twice, and he gave him like a crazy fight. The first time he got knocked down, it was a really tough fight. In the rematch, Conor Benn showed maturity and was able to win the fight. Again, this fight was a good performance. It wasn't great. And the reason being is, again, it's because of the pressure of performing in front of so many people and showing that he is valuable for that 15 mil. Now, the welterweight division was watching. Ryan Garcia had a lot to say. Devin Haney had a lot to say. So, we'll see. It's. I don't think he deserved that much hate, but people have their opinions, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. I really didn't understand they're fighters. They're gonna talk their trash and all that and I think he looked good against a solid guy in Regis. Regis is my guy, two-time champion. Like Regis looked a little kind of stuck in the mud a little bit, like his feet weren't moving the way he wanted them, you could tell.
Right.
And part of the issue was why we saw that was because Ben was moving well, right? Like so Regis was trying to get to him and Ben's feet were just under him better. Um I would I favor Ben against any of like a Devin Haney or a Ryan or Shakur, like maybe not, but I wouldn't like say he's a huge underdog either. Like it's not like it's not close to a 50-50 fight with any of those guys, right? I mean it really could be like even Rolly, right? Rolly's a welterweight champion. Like the welterweights are very interesting like group right now. Like the only guy who's you can say is up on the other one is Rolly's above Ryan, you could say, because they fought, right? And we saw what happened when they fought. It wasn't very entertaining, but
Mm.
Rolly just kind of like popped them, dropped them in the second round, I believe, or something like that, second, third round, and then the fight just didn't kind of like develop after that. Ryan did beat Haney in the ring, right? Obviously the steroid thing. So, that's maybe of a question mark. There are welterweights now, right? I talked to Roy Jones and he said something about Devin might be at his best weight class for his body size because maybe losing the weight is what kind of made his chin a little, like he got hurt by Linares, right? He got dropped a couple times by Ryan. So, maybe we're seeing a different Devin Haney now. Maybe his chin's better. And now, if you're going to say one of the guys the most polished, it's Devin Haney.
Right.
Like beat Lomachenko, right? Beat Linares, like former undisputed. So he's the most polished guy. Maybe he's the guy to beat. But Ryan can say what Ryan has something to say about that too, right? So like I think Conor Benn mixes in well with all those guys, and I think why all those guys were maybe chirping as loud as they were is because you they want to go to the UK. Like, I think they want, and then you need an opponent, right? You need a big enough dance partner to make it worth it. And I think Conor Benn is that guy. He might have he doesn't have a title, but he might be the biggest money maker, maybe below Ryan, maybe, right? But he does have that UK audience. He does have that kind of behind him, so that might even it out a little bit too. So it's interesting, man. I think Conor Benn, he fights any of those guys, it's going to be a great fight. And it's going to be one of those fights that the closer we get to it, you're going to find ways that Conor Benn could win. You're going to find ways the other guy could win. And it's going to get to fight night where you're like, well, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, Conor Benn holds value, given the fact that he is from the UK and there's so much controversy, drama behind him, with inside and outside the ring, clearly. So, yeah, you look at the matchups. I mean, Devin Haney has the best resume in that division. I mean, he's what, I don't even know. He's like 28 years old, and he has so many titles for the best of the best. And but then you got Ryan, who, like, there's always that one person that no matter how good you are has that number on you. So with the Taz, with everything that transpired, there's so much drama. That fight is going to be huge whenever it happens. But it looks like the talk is Ryan and Conor Benn in June, maybe. I don't know. What do you think about that matchup?
It's great. It's great. So summertime in the UK, that might be the one that gets me over there. I might be there for that. But yeah, because I think it's again, like, I think Ryan, probably does want titles, right? Wants to kind of continue his legacy. And Conor Benn, even though he hasn't won a title, he is a name, like you said. Like, it gets you to the UK for probably the right amount of money, and is in Ryan's eyes a winnable fight. It's a winnable fight for both guys.
Right.
So that's the one. I think that's the biggest one to make. Hopefully that kind of forces Rolly and Haney to kind of work some, because I was looking forward to that fight too.
Yeah.
Well, I think Conor Benn kind of holds the cards right now. I feel like if the other guys aren't going to do it, which they haven't put it together yet, then now Conor Benn's either going to force something else to happen, because now there's like a payday. There's a big payday somewhere else for any of these guys to get. And so now that kind of carrot dangled in front of the cart is like, well, are you guys going to put it together, or I'm going to get somebody? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you got everyone talking about you, and you got options, so there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, he looked good enough to where, who knows, right? Like against any of those guys. I don't know. I don't know if I favor him against any of them, but I wouldn't say he's like a super underdog against any of them either.
Absolutely. But one thing about Ryan is, I gotta say something. Ryan Garcia is a great fighter. There's no denying it. The kid's talented, and the kid looked great against Mario Barrios. But it was a great matchup for Ryan Garcia's style. So let's not make it like, oh my gosh, listen, if those two step inside the ring, it's going to be an exciting fight. So I just want to say that because, people might get a little bit too excited based off Ryan's last performance.
No, it's fair. I think Ryan's one of those guys that, because of his history, you're not 100% who you're going to get, right? Like, leading up to it, it seemed obviously he was locked in against Barrios, but Barrios was a limited guy. Like I'd pick Ben to beat Barrios as well if he were still champ. You know what I mean? Like, so, that might be one of the closer ones. I think maybe the funnest one, to be honest, though, is Rolly versus Conor Benn. I think. Like, I don't know if that gets done, just because I don't know. Rolly does have a championship and whatever, but that leading up would be fun. That, like, they already had that little issue, when they were behind Turkey, and they're like, Conor was grabbing him by the neck and Rolly was kind of lit. It was funny stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's the one that I think for sure, and someone gets knocked out in that one, I think.
Yeah, of course, man. But I gotta say, I don't know what's going on. Rolly, like I said, it seemed like that matchup was gonna happen. Conor Benn and Rolly. Then Rolly versus Ryan fell out. Then now Rolly and Devin Haney seems like the negotiations aren't going so well. I don't know, man. I think Rolly, he's a champ. Give the man a fight. Like, what's going on here? Like,
he is a champ. He has the belt.
Oh man. But anyways,
we'll see. But it is exciting, right? It's good to be excited about the welterweight division again, and all these guys kind of have their own drawing power. You know what I mean? Like all the guys we're talking about. The only champ that I'm a little like Lewis Crocker, right? Is the champ out there, which I believe he's hurt. So but he's kind of like a dark horse too. Like Ben might mess with him in the UK, do an all UK thing, and now Ben has even more cards, right? Like if he were to win that fight, because now he's a champ. Now I'm a champ, and I have the UK audience. Like, so it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun time for the welterweights right now, 100%.
absolutely.